someone, and I mean, he got in and studied hard with him and Randy's help. The wastewater treatment plant has back up, and now he's able to take care of that. And I just wanted to have him here to thank him for doing that and appreciate it. Randy's, all Randy's help and Sean's help to do that. That's what we have here in Mountain Grove, is city employees that step up to the task, and we appreciate you. Randy, I'm glad you came. Now you can go home.
That's almost his bedtime.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now, we want to do marks too. All right, Mr. Bushong, come on. Dang.
Step out in front and,
Boy.
hey Danny, can you get a picture?
I didn't do it either.
I want everybody to take a look at this. This is from the Missouri State House of Representatives. And it's from Hannah Kelly, and she would be here, but she had a previous engagement. And I'm gonna read this, so when I've got my glasses on, so bear with me. This is the Missouri House of Representatives, State of Missouri Resolution. Whereas the members of the Missouri House of Representatives are proud to recognize notorious accomplishments of an outstanding Missouri public servant who has placed himself in harm's way on numerous occasions to ensure public safety. And whereas Mark Bushong, an esteemed resident of Mountain Grove, Missouri, retired from his position as fire chief with the Mountain Grove Fire Department on December the 31st of 2023, after 38 years of demonstrating extraordinary commitment to the citizens of the Show Me State through his uncommon dedication to providing quality firefighting service. And whereas Chief Bushong is an extraordinary individual who chose to follow his dream and embrace a worthwhile vocation calling, which provided a means to express his deep sense of community, compassion for fellow Missourians, and the desire to preserve the safety of home and hearth of citizens in and around the Mountain Grove community. I think that's supposed to be health, but it says H-E-A-R-T-H. Whereas Chief Bushong embarked on his career as a firefighter in April of 1985 and was appointed fire chief for the city of Mountain Grove in 1998. And whereas during his impressive tenure with the Mountain Grove Fire Department, Chief Bushong played an integral role in providing the services of life suppression, emergency medical first responders, auto extraction, hazmat response at the operational level, in addition to building inspections and enforcement of fire codes. Whereas known, admired, and respected for his helpful attitude and friendly manner in which he has always greeted people in and around the community, Chief Bushong has blessed with the love and support of a wonderful family whose members include his devoted wife, Darlene Bushong, their 3 children, Mark B. Sparks, Marlene Hilton, and Corey Bushong, and their 4 grandchildren. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the Missouri House of Representatives, 102nd General Assembly, join in expressing deep gratitude for the superb service that Mark Bushong has rendered to the Mountain Grove Fire Department during the past 38 years, and in wishing him ample opportunity to enjoy his hobbies, fishing, barbecuing, dirt roading, NASCAR, and remodeling old cars with his son and wife. And be it further resolved that the Chief Clerk of Missouri House of Representatives be instructed to prepare properly inscribed copy of this resolution for Fire Chief Mark Bushong as a measure of his esteem for him. Offered by Representative Hannah Kelly, District 141. I, Dean Colcher, Speaker of the House of Representatives, 102nd General Assembly, 2nd regular session, do certify that the above is a true and correct copy of the House Resolution 3908, adopted January the 4th, 2024, by the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the State of Missouri. Now, we won't leave it here. You take it with you, but we want to post it. Yeah, Chief, while you're standing up, we'll just say the pledge. You'll all join us in the pledge. Thank you, sir. At this time, we'll observe a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. At this time, call the Mountain Grove City Council order, Monday, February the 12th, 2024, 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome Larry Terrell, new city administrator, a city attorney. I saw this on here, sorry.
Is it Joe Biden over there?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you didn't so for that way.
Like, wait a
I'm not
second,
quite
I didn't
that
sign
old
up for
yet.
that.
I'm not quite
There you
there.
go.
And I'm willing to say, hey, I made a mistake.
That's right, yeah.
All right, council, in front of you, you have minutes. If you'll take a look at those, if we have no corrections or amendments, I'd entertain a motion to approve those. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Next thing we have is the fire department report. Chief Gibbons, if you'll come on up and tell us what's happening in the fire department.
Weird being on a Monday, isn't it?
Feels natural.
So the month of January, it's a pretty busy month for us. We responded to 114 calls in January, which is a 17.5% increase in last year, January. I don't know if it has anything to do with the snow/ice that we had for a few days or what it was, but it's ramping up from what it appears. I've been working on getting our new report software up and running. I should have everything built out by the end of February and implemented first part of March. It takes time. I gotta sit there at the computer and just type for a long time. I have promoted Tom Hicks, Chris Tinsley, and Jordan Primazon to the position of captain, which basically allows myself and Assistant Chief Smart to delegate out some stuff to them, like they can take care of the training, you know, run it by me what you need. I'll make sure the training's up to par. And then I can just focus more on the administrative side and paperwork wise, because trying to juggle everything at once is, I've only got two hands. We were received the check and have ordered the forcible entry door prop from the MFA grant that we got. That should be here in approximately 4 to 6 weeks. That's something that's gonna greatly help train our firefighters, not only here in the city, but also surrounding areas that'll be able to come and use it and train on it and figure out how to use it. That piece of equipment leads me into, I'm in the final stages of planning and implementing our Fire 1 and 2 class. I'm gonna start, I've talked with the state. They said that we can do it in sections. So we're gonna do, like, hazmat awareness is gonna be the last Tuesday and Thursday in March. And then Tuesday and Thursdays in April will be ops. And then my plan is to get with the state and get them to do a state testing for awareness, the state certification test for hazmat awareness and hazmat ops here in Mountain Grove, so our guys don't have to go a long distance to take the test. And then that frees them up to start Fire 1 and 2 in June. And then that'll run June through October. Everyone on the department that I've spoke with that currently doesn't have their Fire 1 and 2 certification have said they are signing up for it. So I'm really excited about that. And then speaking of training, we have 2 more licensed EMTs on the department, Captain Hicks and Firefighter Miranda Lee. Both passed their National Registry written test. Anybody that's ever taken a federally mandated test, and it was pretty difficult. So, they both have their EMT licenses and can provide better care to our citizens. We also have 2 more personnel that are currently in the same class that they took the end of last year. Firefighter Corey Trent and Justin Davis are taking the one up in Texas County, up in Houston. Everything I've heard from the instructors, they've been doing very well. So, you know, I feel like about June we'll have 2 more certified EMTs. So, and Captain Hicks and I, we are currently taking students for a Heart Saver CPR class that we're putting out at the end of February over at the Senior Center. I'm sure you guys have seen it on Facebook. A lot of phone calls, a lot of messages, a lot of people needing it. We've also gotten phone calls from the Mercy Clinic here. The nurses need the BLS class that we can offer. So we're gonna be teaching about 20 of them. Kabul Fire has reached out to us, he wants to teach all of his guys the BLS. And then Competition Fire reached out just the other day. So we'll be teaching them as well. And like I said, that's the level that first responders, medically trained people have to have. It's a little different than the Heart Saver, but it's not. I mean, it's CPR.
I mean, basic life support?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that pretty much wraps up our busy January.
Council, have any questions for the chief? Thanks, sir. Chief Bledsoe, you want to update us on the police department, please?
We've actually had a little bit of a slower month this month. We only answered 789 calls for service this month. And, but I can promise you the guys were out working. Citations for the month were up from 154 last year to 329 this year.
Wow.
So what we're lacking in offenses, we're making up on traffic issues, so it's been busy. We have applied for the MoDOT grant. It's prepared. Just waiting for submission. I have to have a signature from you folks before I can submit it. But we applied for about $20,000 worth of equipment and overtime training, or overtime pay.
That's this, right here,
Yes.
right, Becky?
Mhm.
Okay. We need to approve that, or,
Need a motion by the council for that?
okay. Would you read that? Danny, can we let her read it?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you explained it, but if we're gonna sign this, we'll let you.
Boss, you're paying me to stand here, so.
On February 12, 2024, the Council of the City of Mountain Grove held a meeting and discussed the city's participation in Missouri's Highway Safety Program. It is agreed by the council that the City of Mountain Grove will participate in the Missouri's Highway Safety Program. It is further agreed by the council that the Chief of Police will investigate the financial assistance available under the program for traffic enforcement and report back to the council his or her recommendations. When funding through the Highway Safety Division is no longer available, the local government entity agrees to make a dedicated attempt to continue support for this traffic safety effort.
Okay. So, council, we need in order to get this approved or send it to MoDOT, we need a motion
For city council authorization.
to authorize the city
Make
council.
a motion, we authorize, we pursue
Okay.
it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, Danny, go right ahead. I'll sign it and I'll pass it around.
Okay. Through that grant, we're looking to purchase some radar units that are much needed. We need to update some. And then, like I said, I think it's gonna pay for officers to work 8 hours extra a week. It'll be 2 that'll be assigned to it, and they'll rotate every month. But those guys to focus strictly on traffic enforcement. And the area of focus is hazardous driving, so speed enforcement and things like that, distracted driving.
And when's the new cell phone thing come in? August, is that coming in soon?
See, it was, just
Enforcement?
passed this last year, and it was a whole year of education before they get
So
enforcement.
it won't be effective in 2024, it won't
It's
go
in,
into
it's in
effect.
effect, you just can't enforce.
So you can stop them and remind them this is not okay, is that what we do now?
So, it's not a primary law, so we would have to stop them for another violation,
I see,
so.
okay.
Anything else, sir?
Yes,
Okay.
our canine is back on the street. The new handler of him just finished up certification last Thursday, and they passed with flying colors, so,
Okay.
And their certification was out of state, right?
yes, in Arkansas,
Arkansas, and the dog and the trainer's back.
yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'm sure there's probably be some use out of it.
I
You
can
need-
promise you, we get used to it.
And tell us again the name of the dog,
So,
Moo, and then the handler?
Case Sanders.
Okay.
Does Moo look like a cow?
Moo looks like a German
Just where
short-haired
you're
pointer, because that's what
putting
he
your
is.
Okay.
Handsome.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Council, you have any questions or anything for the chief?
Oh, I do have something.
Okay.
I don't know, do you want me to start handing these out every
Sure, that'd be
council?
fine.
I know that you guys want code enforcement done. This is what we have done so far this year. As far as code enforcement.
I did explain to him, Danny, in my admin report that that's been moved back over to the police department. And so this spreadsheet that you're seeing is what they're gonna use to kind of track what's been reported and do the follow-up on it.
We've actually had some get into compliance already, so.
You sure have.
so-
I called last week and I'm like, Becky, there's this traction situation, and she said, we're on it. They're already on it, it's cleaned up, thank you.
And we're taking a little bit different approach. Instead of mailing letters, we're serving those in person.
Good deal.
So-
And just face-to-face conversations, talking to people,
Exactly.
friendly, you know. Okay, that's good. All right. Anything else, council? Anything else, chief?
No, sir.
Thank you. Be safe. Appreciate it. All right. Next thing is the senior report, senior citizen report. Well, it's straight up and down. Thank you, Kim. It's not signed.
Oh, watch it.
I was just gonna say something, like, oh, it's nice to not have to do this to read the report.
And
Dining room, frozen meals, audience, and on the YouTube, it's always been turned, but thank you, Kim, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Dining room, 60+ served 1,986 meals. The dining room under 60 served 42. The home delivered freezer meals, 2884, for a total of 4,912 meals for the month of January.
Wow.
Thank you, that's really good. All right. Chief, would you look to see if there's any names on the public comment? I don't know that there would be, but if there is, have a name? We can go up. If it's related to the agenda items, we'll,
Some are off on the agenda.
okay, all right. What's 13th Street, 13th Street, okay, all right, we will do that. We'll move right on. Dean? We are, you are on the agenda, so we're gonna do the 13th Street first, and when it comes to agenda, do that, okay? All right. We are going to page 2, 13th Street project. Becky, do you wanna talk about that, or you wanna we have a couple people that wanna talk about that, or what do you wanna do first? Let them speak, or go in and your recommendation, what do you wanna do?
let's talk about, we can talk about the meeting that was held.
Okay?
I think I gave you guys a little bit of a summary on your, on my admin report. We held a public meeting with the property owners, some of them are here this evening, and, we met with Matt Miller from Toth Engineering, Randy Delcor, Brooke Akers was there, Bo was there for the meeting. We explained the project, we tried to answer questions that they might have. Most of the property owners were, upset not only about the easements, they were upset about, they felt like that getting the information in the mail the first time, not ever really knowing about the project. They felt like the city didn't do a very good job of keeping them informed if there was a project. And so it was kind of a heated meeting at times, but we came away from the meeting knowing that there's multiple property owners that do not feel comfortable signing easements. And you know, the easements are needed to be able to replace the water and sewer lines, and get them out of the street area. So without those easements, we can't move ahead with the project. So as I told you in my notes, it'd be my recommendation to go ahead and abandon the 13th Street project and just move that to another high priority street at this time that would not require easements. But that's obviously up to the council. If you decide to do that, since you previously had a motion to move ahead with that project, we would need a motion to cancel that and move on to
Cancel
another.
Move on to another, okay, all right.
But that's totally at council's discretion, so if you guys wanna hear from the property owners, you might wanna go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions about what I,
Council, you have any questions about what Becky's talked
So,
about?
they don't want a new street?
No, we don't want to walk, we don't.
Hold it. You'll get your chance. This is between the council,
Okay, so,
okay? Okay.
they don't want to sign over their property. They don't wanna have the easements. They're not really signing over property, they're allowing the city to have an easement. A lot of them feel like it's encroaching, they can speak for themselves, but they felt like it was taking too much of their yards. It was gonna affect their property values, they were gonna lose some trees. There's various reasons why several of them don't want it. We did have 3 property owners that signed the easements, and those have been recorded. So if you ever go back to revisit that at some point, you do have easements on 3 of the property owners. It's not even really an option to do something else there, because if we're gonna do the street and put that kind of money, which is about $2 a square foot, isn't that right, Bo, for mill and overlay at this point is about average? If you're gonna spend that kind of money to mill and overlay, we have to move those water and sewer lines before we would put that kind of money into redoing the street, so.
So, our current easement, so, how many feet are we talking about?
It varies there where some of them are at, but most of it, I think it's about 8 feet. Isn't that what most of you guys had, was about 8 feet farther than where it is right now?
Than the current easement?
It was 10 in our case.
It varied some, I think it varied anywhere from 6 to 10, depending on where the property owners
So the
lay.
current easement, does that take care of the widening? Were we still going to widen
Yeah,
the street?
if we do it the way it's proposed, it would take care of the widening plus moving the water and sewer lines.
So then it wouldn't be a full 8 feet, or,
In some
sorry, I'm-
cases, it wouldn't be, that's allowing the most that it would be, but
For
in
the
some
water
cases,
lines.
for everything to be moved and the street to be widened.
I'm sorry, I guess I was just thinking it would increase property values, but
No way.
no way, it's gonna decrease it.
Okay, any other comments from the council? Carolyn, you have anything else?
no.
Okay, well, we'll just move on.
Did you need a motion?
Motion that we drop it, is that what we need to do?
Well, you wanna have the public comment first?
I think you should probably hear from
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
I have, is it Dina?
Diane Rust.
Diane Rust.
My son will talk for me.
Hello, council.
Hi.
And you need to state your name and your address,
My name is
please.
Billy Miller. I live at 201 East 13th Street.
Billy Miller, 201,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Second house would be second house on the left-hand side. And everybody drives up and down that street like it's a highway already. There's no speed limit signs on the street whatsoever that I've seen anywhere. And people cook up and down that street. I know it's a through street to get to the back neighborhoods, and the school buses. The buses use it to travel up and down through there. Don't know about the water lines, but I think that we could spend our resources somewhere else on a couple of the other streets in town that need it resurfaced a lot more than 13th Street does. Wall Street, for one, being an example, because Wall Street is nothing but bumps all the way down Wall Street. That's just one I can think of right off the top of my head. Hovis would be another. couple of places that if we work on them, then maybe we wouldn't have to take our yard. Because, I mean, it's already like a speedway up and down through there anyway. I can just imagine what it's gonna be like if you guys widen the road on how fast the cars are gonna go up and down. We have dogs, we have kids, all this stuff that would be playing in the yard and people running, I mean, they're running way over 30 mile an hour to start with now. I can't imagine what it'd be like if you widen the street. Because everybody knows that when you get down to the doctor's office, right there where the therapy place is, the road, the yard comes out into the street. And the asphalt runs right along the very edge of it, which makes it narrower right there at the very end of the street, or the beginning of the street, whichever direction you're going. And you can tell it just by looking down the street that it gets narrower right there where Dr. Libby's or whatever it was, had her office. That one part of the street comes way out. If it was cut straight, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but everybody up and down the street so fast, and the amount that it's gonna take of the property of the house, I'm against it. Because of the speed for one, because they fly up and down that street. So I can't imagine what it'd be like if you widened it and then turn around and make it to where it's smoother. I mean, the bumps that are in it now kind of slow people down a little bit, but, I mean, 'cause they fly through there, way over 30. And that's about all I got to say about it.
Okay, thank you, appreciate
I have
it.
a question for you.
What's that?
If it was changed where there were speed limit signs on the road, and if that piece was widened out a little bit where it wasn't so narrow, would that change your mind or no?
No.
Okay, thanks.
No, I don't want, the property value of, you know, the water lines going through may help with water supply, but, as it stands now, I'm the one that takes care of the yard, I'm the one that takes care of the pool, I'm the one that takes care of everything, so I do all the water. And the only time that we really have an issue with pressure or anything like that is early in the mornings when everybody's trying to get ready for work. That's the only time that we have an issue with, you know, pressure or anything like that. I don't know what the lines are like underneath the street. I thought it was a really bad idea for any city to build streets over the top of the water lines, but that's my own personal opinion.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
all right, thank you. All right, so we need a motion to put
Did
the
you
money
have
somewhere.
anybody else that wanted to?
No, it was those two, and he spoke for her.
Motion
Make a motion, how do we want to say that, Becky, to
to abandon.
abandon the
A
project?
motion to cancel the 13th Street project.
Okay, have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
Should it state it's abandoned or just tabled?
No, just to cancel.
cancel.
Her motion was to cancel.
All right,
Do we need to put reasoning for
Don't have
the
to,
residents' request?
but it will be documented in the minutes.
Okay.
Square Rehab Project, Becky, if you want to talk about that?
Okay. Square Rehab Project. So we put the project out for bids, to replace the sidewalks. And so we had them bid a couple of different ways. We asked them to bid it just replacing the sidewalks, just regular concrete, and then we had talked about in council meeting having them add the cost of what it would take to do the stamped concrete on the inside of the square area. So we got 3 bids, and we opened those on Friday at a public meeting, and then it'll be up to the council to decide which bid to go with. And the bids are, we got one from Courtney Construction, and their bid was $64,500. They did not give us 2 separate bids for it stamped, and the way I read their bid, that does not include any stamping. Then we got a bid from Hughes Brothers Construction. Their bid without the stamping is $48,500. With the stamping is $71,396.
Oh, hang on just a second, Becky, let me get you your report, or are they broken
And
down
by
in the
stamping,
report?
pardon my, I
So-
know you've explained this before, but
So, a lot of the sidewalks in downtown areas, if they redo them, and they'll try to make them more fitting for the era, like if you have it there next to the gazebo, if you wanna do something that looks like pavers or something like that on the sidewalks, that would be
okay.
in the area there next to the gazebo, you could do a stamping on it, and it'll have a color to it, so it won't just
Some
be
more
regular
decorative
concrete.
type
Right,
stuff.
more
Is
of a
Okay.
decorative.
Is there any
just wanna
stamping
make
that's
sure.
done around the square that people could see around town? Bo, is there any, you know of any stamping around?
The only place I can think of is on Elm Street, almost right across from Mark Boyd there.
Yes, on the corner where,
They
right,
stamped the sidewalk down through there when they redone it a few years ago.
yes, yes,
Oh,
that,
okay,
okay,
yeah.
yes, that, the brick house next to it, okay.
And then we got a bid from Kingdom Concrete, and without the stamping is $40,393. With the stamping is $57,285.
And the 48,000 from Hughes Brothers is without stamping.
Correct.
And Kingdom was 40,000 for the regular and 57 for both.
Correct.
So Kingdom Concrete is definitely the cheapest.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're here in Mountain Grove, aren't they?
That is actually, Dodie Buttram leads
Yes,
that crew,
yes,
and I
okay,
think the
that's what I
guys
was
on that
thinking.
crew are from the men's.
MMM house.
Yeah, the MMM house, yes.
So,
Yeah.
so we would be looking without stamping then, is that,
That's up to you all, what you wanna decide.
well, I
for.
mean, as far as.
It's $17,000 more to do the
Yeah.
decorative stamping.
Well, on Courtney's, did they not work, I mean, I'm assuming they were here at bid
Mhm.
opening and
Mhm.
they did specify that, or that was,
It's,
I mean,
cause I'm looking at their bid.
did they know for sure that?
I
we
mean,
were
their
looking
bid
for
is
both?
higher for just regular, without the stamping. It's higher than any of the bids.
Mhm. So it does specify without?
It doesn't say that it includes stamping.
But that's part of the bid
It
specs.
lists
wasn't it?
it lists everything out, and it does not include stamping.
So do we need to decide on stamping before we decide on anything else, I guess?
I mean, to decide on which bid that you wanna go with, yeah, we need to decide on that.
Now, Becky, a question I have, when they tore the concrete out, on the east side of the gazebo or bandstand, whichever you wanna call it, you had the extra area.
That will come out.
That will come out,
That's
but that's part of what's gonna be stamped, is what's around that 10 or 15 feet around.
No, what
The
would be
building.
stamped would be all of the sidewalks, you're gonna have 9 feet wide sidewalks going north and south and east and west, and those would all be stamped, and the area right around the gazebo.
Okay, so we're stamping, not just, we're stamping all of that, okay,
That's what I had them bid.
okay, all right.
Now, if you decide you don't want to do all
Well-
that, then obviously that takes off of the bid, but that's what I asked them to bid, yes.
Could we talk pros and cons about stamping? Is it going to be, I like the way it looks. Will there be a problem as far as like all the strollers we might have coming in, or ADA compliant, or anything with wheelchairs?
Nothing like that. The
or
main
It's
thing-
going to be smooth
Smooth all-
stamp?
The main,
Yeah.
you'd have to be careful what stamp you pick so that it's not,
Yeah, cause
real bad.
we wouldn't want that done.
and the only thing you
Looks
have to
good.
do, when I ask the contractors about it, once a year you'll have to seal it. So our guys would have to, if we do a stamp with color in it, you would have to seal it
Mhm.
in the spring, which really amounts to just spraying it off and then spray that sealer on. So it's not a huge thing, but it would have to be maintained. You'd have to seal it once a year.
I think that would be vital to make sure that it's not a texture, because it would be a mess if somebody tripped on it or got a heel on it, or walker or stroller, whatever, just, you know, it,
So I guess the bottom line is stamping worth $17,000, right? Is that
It's
basically what our
expensive.
bottom
I
line
mean,
is
it's
here?
expensive when you add the stamping on. It is.
What about, I don't know if it's wet with the stamping, is it
Josh Hughes
more
mentioned,
slick?
I mean, it depends on what you pick, and there's just a
the
huge,
sealer will cause it to be somewhat slicker, I think.
That's what I
Tammy, you can
thought.
come over to my house, my wife had some stamped, you can come and look at it,
it
she
really
loves it.
depends on what you get, I mean, what you do, but, Josh said it makes it higher, the stamping, he added $8 a square foot for the stamped part with the color. And he said it would probably be less than that would be the maximum it would be. But he said if you use red coloring in your stamping, when you put the color in, like if you did like something that looked like pavers that kinda is fitting with that era,
Right.
that the red coloring is like super expensive and costs more money if they have to use red coloring in it. So if you go with something more neutral, grays, tans, browns, it wouldn't be as much cost.
And they can put some things in the concrete when they pour the concrete, but.
I mean, it's, whatever we do now is gonna be there for a long time.
Right, right.
So, obviously, while they have it tore up, the guys have torn out the sidewalks. Our guys are gonna start working on replacing all the electrical, so you're gonna have all new electric. Right now, we really only have the main electric box at that one corner. Now they're gonna have electric at all four corners. We're gonna
Yay.
run all those new lines. That'll make it easier for all the events that are happening up there, so we're redoing all the electric. The water lines are being replaced, the sprinkler system put in, which our guys from the golf course are gonna be doing all that. The only thing we really have to contract out is just the concrete part.
About availability, are they all available just when we need them to?
I mean, it was, when I had it bid out, that it had to be completed by May, because we
So
have
they all knew
events
that.
scheduled there, so.
By like the first of May or into May?
I don't remember what I
It's
put
like
in
the
there.
first of May, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it said May
First of
one
May,
on
yeah.
my
Yeah.
bid
Yeah.
sheet.
And, you know, quicker,
Yeah.
decide on what.
I mean, obviously, we'd want it done sooner, but you had to kind
Right.
of put a somewhat of a deadline in there, so that,
To give them time for the weather, cause you know, you never know what the weather's
that's the
gonna do.
thing, is the weather.
Well,
I need to notice the star
My
flower bed's still there. so
That's
is
gonna
that-
come out.
That's gonna come out, okay.
Mhm. The star and the moon.
And that
thing's
half
gonna
moon or
come out.
whatever, good. That's more lawn chair
Yeah.
space.
Right.
that could
Well,
be
and not
used.
just lawn chair space, but redoing all those electric lines and getting all that put underground and everything. All of the monuments, I've had people calling, asking if the monuments, all of that stuff is staying.
Right.
We're not removing any of that. It's just really the
Everything
replacing,
else.
replacing all the sidewalks and the power and stuff in it. And the sidewalks were getting in pretty rough shape, so.
Yeah,
They still have the wooden expansion joints in them, and so.
They were definitely, someone was
We've
talking
gotten,
about
we've
wheelchair.
gotten our use out of them for sure, so.
Seems like the stamping would be more attractive, more, you know, as far as the downtown goes, but it's $17,000.
Right.
Yes, correct.
We have invested over the years, that's kind of been our central point, right? And we've invested in that, and I'm, you know, I've heard our square and our gazebo and Christmas time described as a Hallmark film, you know, we've gotten a lot of compliments on it. I personally would like to see us go ahead and do it to the best of our ability and go ahead and make it nice. I think it's as good as anything else we invest our money in, myself, but that's just me.
Well, and it's gonna be something that us here, you know, our grandkids will be the ones that, you know, I mean, it'll
Right.
be here for a long time.
Right.
And
Right.
if it's done right, I mean, that was the conversation I had with the one contractor. I said, you know, if it's done right, it'll last a long time, there is maintenance.
Right.
You
Right.
said that the red would have to be sealed,
Any of it will. If we do a
Right,
stamp with a
every-
color,
but how
it'll have
often do you have to seal
to,
it?
once a year.
Every
They
year.
said it would need to do
One time a
like
year.
in the spring.
And that would just be the stamped area, obviously, okay.
And realistically, wouldn't that be a way to just make it last longer, even though the purpose for it is to seal it because of the stamp and the color? But in the
it'll make
long
it
term, to
last.
have it sealed annually is a good maintenance, and it could last even longer than something that's unstamped,
Right.
right?
Seems logical, I'd make a motion to go the lowest bid with the stamping,
Okay.
if somebody could go with me on that.
Now, the other thing too is, there's a lot of different stamps.
That's what I'm
Well-
saying.
I mean, that's the thing,
Like you
I
pick
mean-
one
We'll,
that's
we'll
not
bring
gonna-
some of that back.
Yeah, I think the council, I mean, I think it'd be good to see it because
He
I can
had
tell
some,
you right
he
now,
had
it's
some
just, there's
samples.
a lot.
Really, yeah.
So,
He
and
had
there's
some,
some nice ones, really nice ones. Did you
I'll-
see some?
yeah, he had some on his phone that he
Okay.
showed me
Okay.
when
I
he
wonder
was
if those
came
could
in,
affect
so.
our price too, depending on which we choose, if we're talking about maybe the higher end.
I think he pretty much allowed on his bid.
And was that Kingdom Concrete?
Yeah, I think Doty, he's
Yeah,
the one that
figured
did
out-
my wife's, and I,
Right.
you know, and I mean,
Right,
he did a good job. And if anybody wants to drive through, just come and look at ours.
okay. Promise
It's-
not to get
Just a
shot.
dollar a car is all it'd
Okay.
be. Don't pay for it, cause it is expensive. But anyway, but you can come and look at it, and it needs sealed too, so.
Right.
But we have a motion by Mark
I
to
s-
approve the the lowest bid with the stamping, right, Mark?
Mhm.
All right, do I have a second?
Second,
All right, Mark, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay. And I have all the confidence in the world Becky's pretty good. How many houses have you built, Becky?
I don't know, 2 or 3.
Too many? Come in and have some that she feels like will be good for the area and the whole thing and bring it into council.
Well, I
Yeah,
will
I-
be bringing that back.
Oh,
to
yeah,
you
that's what I
all.
mean, to bring in, to see and bring into the council and look and see.
That ain't gonna be on me.
Okay, all right. Next thing is a grant update. Trent Courtney from School Call.
He is not here.
Okay, we'll
I-
save that for the next one, or you have something?
Well, I gave you all a grant update because I thought Trent was gonna be here to kinda, but it gives you a pretty good rundown. On the Twin Cities Sewer Project, the bids for the project were opened February 7th. The lowest bid that came in was from Courtney Construction. The bids were crazy all over the place. Courtney Construction was 600 and some thousand, and the highest bid was 1.6 million. So it was a crazy difference. There was 3 bids that came in.
That's for the sewer from the,
This is the sewer project from the Twin Cities Industrial Park into the city.
so how much was a grant to do that? Not that
So
much?
that's, well, they're still short about $90,000, and they've went back to to DRA, which is one of the funding sources, to see if they will make up some of that difference, after the bids came in. So they're working on the funding part of it right now. So right now, it's short about $100,000 to move ahead with the project. So, they're working on that. Between the Twin Cities Board and DRA, they're hoping they can make up the difference, on that.
Webb, you got your checkbook? Yeah, yes.
Probably got that much cash, you don't need a checkbook.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the grant, the ones that they're doing that,
He did say $6.
I think they will have some opportunity.
They were really happy with the bid that came in from Courtney because it was in the $600,000 range, which is where they thought it should be closer to than the ones that came in at 1.6 million, so. Okay, the Bush Street project, the survey field work has been completed. This is gonna be a pretty straightforward project because it's an existing street, it's not expanding or any of that. That is the grant that we got to redo the street going into the industrial park. So that is progressing as it should be right now. The 13th Street, we just addressed that this evening. The Lake Lily project, all of the plans are complete. The easements are complete and recorded. We have applied to BNSF for a construction permit, which actually was applied for in October. And they have yet to sign that, but we should be getting that. But we're gonna go ahead and put the bids out, so the bid documents, you'll be seeing that over the next couple of weeks. So what that project will actually be is along the railroad tracks where Lake Lily is, there will be a berm basically that will be built between where the lake is and where the railroad is. And there was issues below that before where there was flooding down to, Fun City. I don't know if some of you
On down
remember
through
how much
there.
flooding there would be going across down there.
Mhm.
Well, part of this grant replaces a lot of that that's under Fun City's parking lot. So that's not made to handle the amount of stormwater and stuff that would come off and wash down there. So part of this grant is gonna replace all that. So the easements that were needed was to replace all of that that's under the parking lot there at Fun City.
And that will keep like Chapman Street people from
Right.
getting flooded.
Right,
Okay,
right. When they get all that replaced through there, that'll handle all that
Right.
stormwater that's coming off. It's the only times it really flooded down through there, but Lake Lily kinda made that worse because part of that drained off of there and then that
Right,
just kinda added to
right.
it.
I remember a couple of times we were in crisis mode over it. And
So-
that's been a long time, but,
So this will be going out for bid in the next couple of weeks. Kim and I met with Matt, on Thursday? The Bulldog project, I call it that, but that's the project that we got the funding because of Bulldog going in out there to expand our water and sewer out to the west overpass. Those plans are complete and the bidding will start over the next couple of weeks. Now, those plans, you know, at first they were gonna go out Highway 60 and put the water and sewer along Old Highway 60 out through there. Those easements were full, so we're running it along first road along the golf course and out that way. And then it will cross, there where Bulldog is, there will be a lift station on Bulldog's property, for the sewer. And so we'll be bidding that project over the next couple of weeks also.
So both now, water and sewer over on First Road, okay?
Yeah, so it's just sewer out to Twin Cities, but water and sewer out to the west overpass. I've actually had 2 homeowners on Business 60 out there, this side of Bulldog, that has contacted me about how long it would take for them to get water and sewer once we get out there, that they would like to be able to annex in and get water and sewer out there. Any questions on those? I think that's kind of the rundown on the grant.
Okay, anything else, council? If not, we'll move on to, street inventory with Mr. Bo.
This is his favorite thing to do right here.
He lives for this moment.
And we haven't bit him or slapped him or hurt him
No.
yet.
No,
Did you give him that paper?
they have a copy.
They
You
have a
guys have
copy.
a map on your computer of the streets that,
Okay.
this is Bo's drawing. Bo, you wanna explain the color coding and stuff that you used on there?
I think the, pink was, I used as the worst ones, and the orange is the next ones. And then I didn't mark the yellow, they, all the rest of them be yellow except for the greens, and the greens is the ones that, have been overlaid in the last 5 or 6, 7 years. It's been 6 or 7 years now since we've overlaid a street in Mountain Grove. And,
Cause right now, let them know what you guys normally do maintenance-wise on the
well,
streets.
we patch the best that we can, but that's all we're doing is just patching, just trying to.
And then you're sealing.
And then we're trying to get caught up on some sealing to, maybe slow the patching down a little bit, so.
Do you like the ceiling, Bo?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes no, but it's just like the, chip and seal. I mean, if you catch it at the right time, you're gonna save it, and if you don't, you're not. I mean, that's, I tried to, like the one we did on, Oak Circle, Elm Street. After about 3 years, we sealed it to kinda help preserve it, keep it in good shape, and maybe in 3 or 4 we'll do it again, just to kinda keep it up. But, seems like the ones that we have sealed that we've caught in time has slowed the potholes down some. I mean, we got some pretty rough streets in town, so.
Yes.
And this is about more than that, isn't it? Like, I know South High Street, it should be about widening that street as well.
Well, that's kind of our plan. When we, go in, we wanna try to widen them, get the water lines out,
Yeah,
fix it all as we go. That way it's a good street for several years and they ain't digging in it.
right,
That's
Right.
kind of the plan, widen them where we can, kind of fix them up as we go, and do it right as we go this time,
exactly.
so.
We have, if you'll see on there, one of the main streets that gets a lot of traffic and would kind of be our choice of the next street to go to would be Maple Street. It's
That was gonna
highly
be my
traveled,
suggestion, yeah.
and probably, I think Randy's comments to me was that street has more patches in it
Yeah.
because they've had so many water leaks in it.
Yeah, it ain't nothing to patch like that street 3 or 4, 5 times a year where they've dug a hole in it. I mean, it's,
Because of where the
Because
water.
they've had water issues
they've
and
got
they've
water
had,
lines
yeah.
busted and whatnot in it.
What's nice about Maple Street is we already currently have really wide easements there. So we would be able, we had Toth take a look at that when they were here, and we would be able to, because the water lines don't start until, are not in the front until Sixth Street. So from Sixth Street to 11th Street, you have water lines at the street
Yeah.
that would need to be replaced. And we have pretty wide easements on that street to where we would not have to, go into anybody's property. The only thing with Maple Street is, if we started it as our next project, that's gonna coincide about the same time that they're gonna be widening 95.
I wondered about that. Then I was even thinking, should we wait until after that?
Yeah, so we were thinking maybe Maple Street maybe should wait until after the MoDOT gets done with their cause Maple and Oakland
Yeah, are gonna
and
get-
Hovis are gonna get a lot of extra traffic during the 95 project that MoDOT has.
Right.
So Maple Street may need to wait until after the 95 widening
Do we know
project.
when MoDOT's gonna start this?
I just know the last I heard from them was they were gonna give us final plans in April. And then it'll go out for bids once they have final plans.
So if, let's
It's
just say,
scheduled to be completed in 25, is what
Right.
I've been told.
if they don't start to 25, let's just say,
I don't think we could get this done before.
Okay.
If you count doing water sewer, widening and doing a mill and overlay,
Well, by the time the engineers come in and do all that they've got to do, and then they get started, I don't think.
And we bid
we'd
it
have
out.
enough- Yeah, and then you gotta bid it out, you know, I don't think it'd be enough time for it.
okay,
we're worried that if they started construction like first of the year in 25, that we would not have everything.
no, we would want it done by the time they
It
start
would need to
this.
be done and no
Yeah.
construction
How
down through
much,
there at all.
how much in kind are we gonna do, Bo, Becky?
Do what now?
How much in kind work? Are we gonna put the water and sewer in, or are they gonna hire a contractor?
I would say it'd be a whole lot easier, faster if we just bid it all out. I mean,
We
there's
don't-
some of it we could do, but it would be a whole lot faster if they just come in, had a crew, start to finish, done it.
I know on our other grant projects, the ones we have going right now, for all the water and sewer that's going in, those are all gonna be, crews. It's
I
bidding,
mean,
bidding
some of the
out.
sewers is gonna be really deep, and we ain't got the equipment to do it, you know.
Randy was saying there where it goes down to 11th Street,
Yeah,
that it
that
gets,
sewer right
that
there
it gets
really deep.
really deep right
Right
there.
there.
And he said we
Is
wouldn't.
there some grant money to do Maple Street?
Yeah, I mean, we will go after grant money for
Right,
it
okay.
to help us replace the water and sewer lines, but I just don't know that Maple should be our next priority if we're gonna pick a street to go to. Just because of the 95 issue.
Right.
If they weren't doing 95 this next year, we would definitely wanna go to Maple probably first.
Because it's in the worst shape.
And,
Right,
and heavily traveled,
Right,
heavily
Right.
traveled.
right. Makes sense to me.
Was Ninth Road the last one that was done, Bo?
We did,
That,
I
that's
think
not-
we did Ninth Road, that little, it was like a block, and then we done,
yeah,
Oak Circle, and then, from the
Clay.
highway up to, Kendall on Elm was the last three that was done, if I remember right.
Which ones did we seal this last year, Bo? We did 9th? Did we do 9th last year, or was that year before?
when was
I'd
that?
have to look at my paper to see which, we sealed, I don't know, probably near 40, at least 40 blocks of seal. I mean, some of it, some streets got more than others, but roughly 40 blocks is about what we do a year.
That's just budgeted.
That's just budgeted in.
But mill and overlay, we would try to go after some grant money
Yeah.
for some of the mill and overlay, cause it gets a little more
And some of the
pricey.
streets that need done, we wouldn't have to do nothing to the water lines, of course, we'd have to get with Randy and whatnot. And they could just come in and mill and overlay, and it wouldn't be as big a project.
So on Maple, we would need to do water lines.
We need new water lines.
And then is it 7th Street that he was saying was in so bad?
7th Street needs new water lines down through it, and probably a widening, from Baden to Chapman. It's nothing but a big patch either. I think we patched it probably 7, 8 times last year.
So, Bo, when you talk about mill and overlay, are you talking about taking up there what's there, or just,
They'll take up a certain amount, they'll leave like a good solid base.
they'll just
take-
smooth it up and
They'll kinda
down to
smooth
the
it up,
good.
and then they'll come back and overlay it
with hot mix?
with hot mix, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
So we're probably gonna look at another area and bring that back to you next month, and we'll talk about it more in the strategic planning meetings too, how we wanna,
Have to go about that, how to
well,
tackle
how
that
we
one.
wanna prioritize those and budget those
Right.
for each year.
Because
Okay.
some of these are not very heavily traveled streets.
Right.
But they still need some attention, but they're not traveled as much. I can see
And
that.
that's, Bo, appreciate you and Becky, getting the list of what needs to be done, because
Yeah.
that's what we need to do. We need to have a plan. Do a little bit what we can along, see if we can get grants to do that, 'cause
So Bo, as far as your recommendation to the council, if we did not do Maple right now, what would be your next recommendation?
You know, probably Seventh Street would be a high priority. I mean, it's not a well-traveled street, but we spend a lot of time fixing water leaks and patching holes. I'd kinda like to see 26th Street done out through there. It's pretty narrow, pretty, you know, got lots of potholes in it every year. We spend a lot of time patching on it. About any one of them, anywhere you just wanted to start. Just take one, just pick, it doesn't really make a difference.
26th Street is pretty narrow.
It's pretty narrow, and
real
there's
narrow.
lots of
I'm
cattle
sure they
trucks and
appreciate it, yeah.
feed trucks and stuff that run up and down through there, which I know
Yeah.
that ain't necessarily our problem, but they're still running up and down our street, you know.
I think I enlarged everything, so I hadn't
Yeah.
scrolled up all the way to the top after I did that, yeah, 26th Streets, yeah.
Yeah, you can basically pick anywhere you wanted to go and we could go with it, you know, start fixing them somewhere.
I think in our strategic
Oh,
planning
I see what
process,
you're
we'll kind of talk about how we want to work that as far as how much we will seal each year and
Yeah.
what we'd like to do is just work out a schedule for the streets so that we're not just deciding each year what we want to do. We'll have it planned out and a
Makes
schedule of how we want to do those. Anything else, Bo?
No, I don't think so.
He looks like he made it out alive. He doesn't even look damaged in any way.
Bo, you don't have anything else you wanna talk to us about, or anything?
No, I don't think so.
He just wants to get away from us.
Citizen Advisory Committee,
Ooh, I
Becky?
didn't bring my folder in here, but we have, I believe we have 10 or 11,
Oh, good.
applications for the Citizen Advisory Committee. So we had placed on our information that we were gonna do a maximum of 9. So, most all of the ones that have applied are business owners, or business owners in town that don't live in town. Most of them are. So I don't know how you guys wanna go about picking who is on the committee, cause we didn't really discuss that, how you wanna go through those applications.
Will we need a separate meeting for that?
We can, kinda up to you guys how you wanna handle it.
could we do something like that when we do the, strategic planning meeting,
Yeah,
put that on there?
we can put it on the agenda.
Put that on the agenda for that and do that.
Okay.
I mean, go through them there, cause if
Okay.
you're gonna, council, you can decide on if you wanna do the 9 or 10, or if you wanna just, if there's 11 people, have them all, or whatever you wanna do.
I mean, yeah, that was just a recommendation.
It's only 2 extra.
Right, right, I'm with you, and the more voices we hear, the better it is.
I do think that out of one of those, there's a husband and a wife both that applied, so you may wanna just do one from
Okay.
that.
Yes. Equal voices.
All right, airport project?
So, I told you all about that there is funding available to do hangars at the airport. In order to secure that funding, even though that funding will not be available to us until next fiscal year, we have to go ahead and advertise for an engineer to get those funds committed for us. So the engineer would have to come up with a plan for what all is gonna be completed at the airport. So I talked to Garver, they're the ones that did the last projects that we had at the airport. So they already kinda have some plans, but we would actually have to put out a request for qualifications to pick an engineer that will develop the plans for us for the, airport project. And basically, they would submit a plan that says, this is our plans over the next 5 years with the grant funding that's gonna be available, this is what we plan to accomplish. And the things that is in the plans that they would wanna do is, there's money to do the hangars, money to extend the airport, and to do the runway if we do that extension. So but right now, those projects would be brought back to you to approve once we would want to be submitting those. Right now, we just have to make a motion to, put out a request for qualifications, for an engineer for the airport project.
And there's nothing wrong with Garver, it's just, this is what Bo recommends.
There's multiple ones, I'm sure we'll get more than just Garver. Just Garver's the one that did the last 2 projects that we had out there.
Well, I make a motion that we put out for bids then.
A request for qualifications.
Okay, second? Second, Carolyn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And make note that, Jamie had to leave with you. She's not voting no, she has class, she had to go to school.
She said she'd be back.
Okay. All right, zoning maps?
So the zoning maps are, they have got them, I won't say complete because we have to make some edits to it. So I've asked Bobby to show you what the zoning maps are because we can't release those to the public just yet. The company is coming, Bobby, we're meeting actually tomorrow, with the engineer that worked, is it? Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow. So I asked Bobby to go ahead and put it on the big screen so you can kind of see. This will be what we'll release to the public. So Bobby, you want to explain what they're looking at?
So this is Mountain Grove, our pride and joy, our hometown that we all love. Each of these different colors are different zones or green, A1, agriculture, C1, highway business, and you can kind of see the grid there, it kind of goes down. Anything in particular you're looking for, there's also different base maps, so you can change. If you want to see blueprint, that would be like a blueprint map. If you want to do like the actual layout map, this would be, it shows you.
Bobby, can you go ahead and zoom in so that they can see? Once you zoom in on it, it shows you what the
Shows the address
it shows the address, but it shows the zoning also. So you could zoom
You
in.
can draw colors and
Yeah.
you can click on them.
So if you zoom in enough, you can see what it's zoned
You
at.
can see what the zoning is, and
There's
then if you
C1.
hover over that property, it will tell you what the address is.
Okay.
You can click on it and it brings up, shows the address, shows
There's
shows
the
address
address.
there when you zoom in, but then you can also click on it and get more details.
Okay.
If you, Bobby, go ahead and zoom back out. The zoning that had kind of triggered a lot of this, trying to get these maps done so that they could see it. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, which is mostly Ward 2 over in that area, that kind of orangish looking color, that's R3. And that is kind of what prompted some of the folks that came into the zoning board asking for the board to look at all the zoning designations in that ward.
You can see out of our whole town, everything is right there. Got one spot here.
Well, I was gonna say, there's some in my neighborhood that's
Bobby,
not
what's the
there.
purple?
You have R2 a lot over your way in Ward 4. You have R3.
Industrial.
Well, we have a lot, like, across from me is triplexes, that's R3, right?
There are two. I think,
Triplexes are?
I think no.
Okay.
I think those were, they did the zoning there. Bobby can zoom in over there. I think they did the zoning there. Those were kind of grandfathered in when they did it,
Okay,
but it was made R2 over in that area.
okay.
Where's that at?
Right across 95 and
95.
High.
95, yeah, right
And
in
they-
that area,
and
where
they
that
spot
trailer
zoned over
park
there
has
off of
to
Wall
be an
Street by
R3.
Mark. Hover over, go to my house there, Bobby. That'd be a good area for people to see across from the baseball field and that, I can see an address there.
All R3?
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So I think having this map to where you can actually see because our maps currently were just those individual
Flip
maps that you never could really get a bird's eye view of what the zoning looks like. This is gonna be real helpful for us, especially with as many calls as we get asking for zoning in the city. We were going map by map, finding the property.
Right.
This way, we'll be able to post this on our website, people can actually go there and look at it. But right now, the reason for the meeting tomorrow is we have to learn how to go in. This is Esri mapping is what this website is. And we have to learn how to go in and do the edits on it, because if we have conditional uses, like, if you see blue on the map, so like, see where that blue spot is?
Right.
That's a conditional use that the zoning board has issued a conditional use on that property for whatever. It could be various things,
Looks
but,
like it was set on May of 2012.
Oh,
so And there's some conditional uses that aren't marked on there because the maps that they received to do this, the conditional uses weren't marked everywhere, so we've got to go in and do those edits before we release it to the public, and that's what we're gonna learn how to do tomorrow.
This will be good for property owners and
Mhm.
real estate and, I mean,
Right.
everybody.
I think it'll be real helpful to the council and to the planning and zoning
Yes,
board
it'll be
moving
helpful to
forward.
everybody.
There's lots of different ways to view it that makes it easier to see.
When do you anticipate this will be ready for?
I think when we meet tomorrow and we can find out how to do the edits, it'll just take us a few days to get those done, and then we'll be able to post it to
That'd
the
be good.
public.
Thank you. Bobby, thanks.
It's really cool.
It's very cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited to take a real look at it.
Yeah, I see about that. All right, let's jump into new business. Lions Club, I don't think Ray was here, but there's
He
Ray,
is-
but she had a.
He is not, but he was not able to be here tonight, but he plans on coming to the March meeting, but I think
And the
Brenda.
main thing that he was going to talk about tonight is the fact that we have all of the equipment and everything is complete at this point in time.
For the playground.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But we have put Ray on the agenda for the March meeting, so.
Okay, that's good. Thank you, Brenda. Golf course senior rates, Dean Curtis.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I'm just here with wanted to approach you about the actual senior rates. I go back to Dean Curtis, I live at 1205 East 13th Street here in Mount Grove. Been here all my life. Bobby, this is my home pride town. I started out on fire department back when Norman Jerk was here. Spent
It's
many
been a
years
while.
here, went to Springfield, got hired there, retired 25 years from there. I still work for Mercy's paramedic 911 service. But I just want to kind of come to the golf course fees. I started playing golf again this last year out here, and they kind of broke I got my membership thing in the mail the other day, and they only have like 3 age groups, like 20 and under, 21 to 64, and then 65 to 89 as seniors. And I kind of looked at some research. Most area golf courses all start at 60 for seniors. There's even a few that's 55. I've got several that I could actually name, but several of our surrounding communities are. We've already got the golf course set up tee-wise for seniors, start playing at the gold tees when they're 60. However, when you go to pay your memberships, it's 65. So it's caused a lot of confusion out there amongst the members. So they approached somebody to come to city council, which ended up being me. So here I am. But anyway, that's all I wanted to come about. I think, a lot of times you go to restaurants, you go to any type of theme parks, most of the time you start getting a little bit of reduced rates at the age of 60. And so I thought this golf course, maybe we could go back to 60 there, so it's in line with the tees, it's in line with everything else, where our golf leagues, our golf tournaments we play, when you can start from the gold at 60, so everything's 60 except for this membership deal. So, like I said, I've got several golf courses, Mountain View, Willow Springs, Marshfield, Hidden Valley, several in Springfield, a lot of Joplin, they're all the age of 60. So I'd just kind of like for you to consider maybe dropping that age back to 60 instead of 65. There's probably only about, I don't know, I talked to Webb a little bit about it, some of the other golf course people. There's probably only 10 or 12 people that it affects this year, but it's going to affect.
I asked Jeff to give me a figure based on last year's memberships, what the fiscal impact would be if we lowered the age, how much difference that would make. And it amounted to about $1,560 less if we change it based on the people that joined last year. So it would make $1,560
Not a lot of money,
difference.
but it's just something to try and get in line with the other courses. I did also do on our green fees. We did go up this year, but we're pretty well in line with all the other courses as far as green fees. From the 9 holes is $35, 18 holes is $50. About every other course is from 35 to 50. So we're right in line with everything with our increases. So that wasn't a big deal. I just kind of wanted to see if we could get that rate reduced down to 60 instead of 65 for everybody.
If you do lower this, do you feel that there would be more people come in?
It probably could
And it
get
would
some-
probably offset that $1,000 that,
I very well think you could get some extra members by doing that, because
I used to play golf a lot before I started working in Springfield, and then I've come back since I retired from the fire. But we used to have about, I talked to Jeff about it, like 6 different age groups. So it was a nightmare trying to get all this green fees and everything, and I understand that. But now we're down to 3, like 21 and under, and then 21 to 64, and then 65 and over. So we used to have super seniors that started like at 70 and 75, you get another reduced rate. So now we're down to this one, so I mean, honestly, I didn't feel like it'd be too big a deal, but Jeff said I'd have to come to council to approach you to get this done.
Well, they had approved, he had submitted the rates and the membership sheet to the council when he gave his report recently, so they approved it at the rates that you are seeing. So in order to change that, it needed to come back to the council.
So what would happen is if we went down to 60 instead of 65, a 60-year-old would pay the $840 instead of going up to 65, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Going from 840 to 960, I believe it is. It's like
Because,
$120.
right, because now a 60-year-old pays the $960.
Yes,
So it'd save
$120
$120.
per play.
But if you get that many more people to play,
Really just need one and a third more to cover the 1,000, 840 plus a little more.
Do you really think that $120 is gonna make any difference?
I think it will get some more people join just because, well, I think we're all gonna notice it, but when we hit that senior age, a lot of us are on fixed incomes, and we got some rates that, so every little dollar will help. And I've heard some of the guys out there that was kinda upset, that's why I'm here, trying to get us to reduce, because they're like, well, I can go to Wedgewood and join for a cheaper amount than what I'm paying here. So I'm trying to keep that from happening too, because matter of fact, Webb probably knows, I've got 4 or 5 guys I play with that would like to probably go to Wedgewood if it doesn't change, and I don't want that to happen myself, because then we've lost enough money that we could have already done this.
So how much is it at Wedgewood, and where is their age cutoff?
They have one fee out there now. They used to have it like we do, several different fees, but now you can join for about $650 to $700. That's what they charge for the
it's
year.
it's only 9 holes.
It's only 9 holes, it's not 18
Right.
and
Right.
Okay.
that's it, so.
Some
But-
people, Dean, would say they'll like it just because they're getting a discount no matter what the price is. If you tell them they're getting a discount.
Absolutely right. So that's the way, and a lot of courses you do, even on the green fees, they offer senior discounts on green fees. And, ours is the same, but that part is okay because we do need the extra money out at the golf course. But that's the only thing I wanted to bring to your attention to see if we could
It
get
does
that
make
reduced
sense to
down.
match it with the gold tees. I never thought of that when Jeff came to ask what the age on the gold tees was, so.
Yeah, and like I
One way or
said-
the other, they'd probably need to be the same, so it's across the board.
Well, every tournament we play in our leagues, everything's 60, but when we come to the money part of it was 65.
And like you said, all other golf courses are 60 on gold tees generally
Almost
across
every
the
one of
board.
them. I mean, I found one that was in, I think Mountain Home that was 65, that's the only one I found. There was 2 or 3 that was 55, but I feel like 60 would be the age that we should do it. And, I appreciate all you guys do for the city, trust me. I know how it could be.
So in order to
something
change
else.
that back, we'd have to have a motion and a council to vote on that.
So if we do that, would it take effect this year?
Because
And then
they
we,
pay the membership start in March.
oh, so nobody's paid it yet? We wouldn't have to
Most of them
refund
haven't
anybody?
paid yet.
Okay.
Well, I make a motion that we change it.
Well, if
Yeah,
some
wouldn't-
people
yeah.
have already paid, are we,
And they'll get their
Well,
some
Then
of the
Jeff
money
would
back.
have to,
Yeah.
we'll reverse them?
yeah, cause
And
it's,
I've talked about that. I've talked to Jeff about that too. Anybody from the age of 60 to 65, he's not let them pay. He's not accepted
Okay.
any money
Oh,
till the
okay.
end of the month so that there
Okay.
wouldn't be that
Okay,
confusion.
cause I was gonna say, I know
Because
he
some
knew-
people have already paid.
Yes.
So-
he knew it was on the agenda.
Right,
for
I
tonight,
talked to him
so-
about it, so he knew it was coming up, so he hasn't accepted any money from us on that.
Okay, all right, we have a
But
motion.
we're just talking about the $1,560 then.
Correct.
Based
I mean, that's
on
based,
last year's
that's based on
ages.
last year's membership, so if it increases, it's gonna affect it a
And
little
we
more,
say
but,
membership, we're talking about the people who pay annually or
Pay
membership,
annually.
whatever, yeah.
right, annual players.
Yeah.
Have
That's
a
another
motion.
$1,500 loss. It's not that big a deal, right?
Well, it's still a $1,500 loss. I mean, it's still $1,500 that could go to the swimming pool or something like that. I'm
You
sorry,
may have a
Dean.
bigger loss
Well,
though
but-
if you have them upset and they go out to Wedgewood instead of going to the city.
True.
I don't
And-
think they'll
and-
trade 9 holes for
Yeah,
18,
right.
but I
hope-
I
so.
can understand though what you're talking about with the
Right.
tees now
I
and
can
whatnot.
understand it.
And it's
too,
just the
but-
confusion part there that really brought it to our attention. Other than that, most people probably wouldn't even have thought about it. But like I said, if you're gonna play at 60 for seniors out there, then why doesn't it match what we're doing on paper?
And I think, when it's posted, you may have to get, like Dean, he may tell someone else that's not playing this day.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm like Zach, I think you will gain
I
enough
think,
members that's
gain
gonna
some,
offset this.
I may be wrong, but, hey, whatever. So,
I'll second.
have a motion and a second to change it from 65 to 60, the rate. Have a motion and a second. How do we vote? We want to vote by, Webb, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 No,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Thank you all for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dean, appreciate it. Solid waste disposal bids. Becky,
Okay,
you
so
have
I'm,
that on the administrative report. Becky, if you wanna go ahead and talk about that.
well, I gave you guys some information based on, I kinda checked with some other cities, what they've done. You guys have mentioned at times wanting to, possibly make that part of the water bill, that they would have trash service. In order to do that, you would have to advertise. Most cities that I talk to do it on a 3-year bid, kinda like we do for our banking, when you would contract it out. I asked Larry to, look over the state statute that talks about that you have to give like a 2-year notice. The way I understood it was that you give a 2-year notice to, if you were gonna create your own trash service, if we were going to buy our trucks, create our own trash service. Larry, do you wanna speak to that at all, or?
I think you're correct in what you're saying. I would like to have a little time to look at it. I didn't
Okay.
know it was an issue until just tonight.
And I don't know that we're making a decision tonight, but this'll be something that,
I'll get back to you very, very quickly with that.
okay.
Can you have that for us when we have our meetings?
The 19th on
Well, I need to vote on that too.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna, that'll
Could
be in
could
my.
you have it, could you have it by the 26th of this month?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
What was 26th?
If we have a meeting,
the strategic.
strategic.
What does the 19th?
Well,
Yeah,
it
it said,
depends on
yeah.
what you guys said it.
Okay.
But we've gotta start the conversation here on whether you wanna do this, there's pros and cons to having this. The pros are, this would provide an avenue for people to dispose of their trash without putting it, in their yards or in the backs of their pickups, or trying to put it in a dumpster somewhere, that doesn't belong to them. But on the flip side of that, it's going to, whatever the cost is to do this would be automatically added to their water bill. The city would do the billing and the collection, for the trash service. I think the bid that, the city of Kabul has right now ended up being about, what did I tell you, Kim, $13.95? $13.95 to have a poly cart, for each residence. Then commercial businesses obviously would be more based on what size of a dumpster that they need.
$13.95 extra for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that's right at, it's 50 for 3 months or something.
We would have to take bids, and then that opens it up to, any other company besides the local company that we have. We have Duggar Trash right now, here in town that does, according to them, they have about 85% of the people in town currently.
Residential and commercial, 85% or so. And
We're
there's
stepping
GFL.
into something that's none of our business. We're worried about people's trash. So we have ordinances in place to deal with people that have their trash piled up. And you and Danny have a new system for tackling the people that have a trash problem. The dumpsters, people putting their trash in dumpsters. In my opinion, that's only our business on our dumpsters. And I don't really think that that's people that's within the city limits. I think personally that a large majority of those are coming from outside the city limits. The only way we can stop people from putting trash in our trash dumpsters is to take some chains and locks the lids down. That's the only way we're gonna stop it. and the trash as far as people's property. You guys got a new system, and I believe that it's going to work. So I guess I'm never into making rules to govern people's property or to say you have to do this, this, this. So I don't guess I see where the problem is that we think we need to address. That's my own personal
I feel like
opinion.
our property, the majority of our people here in town pay for trash.
Right,
Keep their yards clean.
right,
But you've got that certain amount in every town
right,
that won't do it. They don't
Right.
care where their trash is.
right,
They don't care whose dumpster they throw it in. They don't care.
right.
And I talked to a guy that, well, it's Cabool, I'll just tell you. And everybody has it. And he said, Cabool's town, as far as trash, is so much cleaner than Mountain Grove. I feel like when you get your water and sewer, and if the trash is part of it, you pay it. That way everybody's got a bin, everybody puts their trash in the bin. It will save the people that will not do it. They won't do it. Not gonna do it. If they can save $15 a month, they're gonna save it and use your trash can.
Right.
Or throw it in their backyard. They don't care. And
That's
I
why
believe
we have
that-
ordinances.
I believe that. I feel like we don't have the manpower or the time. Evidently, don't drive around Mountain Grove and look at the trash.
I have, and I've called Becky about it, and guess what? They've got it done. They got it solved. The trash is gone. I wanna give them a chance to deal with, we make ordinances, and we have to enforce those ordinances. And if we enforce all the ordinances that we have right now, the problem is solved.
Don't believe they have the time or the manpower. And I believe this just solves it so easily.
I don't believe we have the right to make decisions for people.
I believe we do.
Unless it's absolutely necessary, and we don't know what the result of enforcing our ordinances is going to do. I have confidence, because I've already seen it, that their new system is going to make a difference. I've already seen it. And I think we need to give it a chance. I would like to, and I don't know what their schedules are like, but I would like to see a push to get people in compliance before, like, citywide cleanup. I think that our town, if we enforce what we already got, our town will get cleaned up. If not, then we may need to enforce another ordinance to handle the situations. We don't have to make rules for other people. That's my opinion.
When I moved to Mountain Grove, the city had its own trash service, and our town was clean. And you paid I pay almost $200 a year for my trash service. I'd rather pay it to the city.
Well, are we gonna
Or
make
to
any money on
whomever.
this? I mean, we're not gonna make any money.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Yes.
So when we first started, when Webb brought it up a long time ago, and we chatted a little bit about it then, I thought it was a good idea because, you know, I know what you're talking about. Some of the yards are full of trash and whatnot. But then, I visited Becky the other day. I got to thinking about it again, just, you know, trying to get, when you talk to someone else or throw out or play devil's advocate, you think of things in different ways sometimes, but.
Right.
So I asked her, for instance, what about I'll just, for an example, a lady who lives in town, maybe she's come from her farm, she's moved into town, her children still run the farm, and her trash goes home with the children once in a while, and they burn it or whatever they do with it on the farm.
Right.
Or what about, I'll use just another example, say 2 sisters or 2 senior households that don't have much trash. So they split the bill to get 1 cart from the trash service, and they share that. I mean, you know, those types of examples. So then I thought, you know, maybe there is a different solution. And then she had already talked about, you know, she had told us earlier that she had switched it back over to PD, and I kind of thought the same thing. Let's see if this makes a difference, because I think that those people, examples that I just gave, I think that they would rather us enforce, like you were saying, our ordinances, instead of pushing them to increase their water bill, you know, that they might already be struggling paying.
Right.
Because we
Right.
have had to increase rates on those.
Right.
So, that's
But-
my thought.
Right, and if they are not having a trash problem, it's really none of our business what they're doing to their trash. I
Yeah.
mean, really, it's not our business.
But
if
that
they're
amount would
keeping our
still be
rules.
added onto their water bill, even though
Exactly.
they'd made other arrangements
Right.
to
Right.
help them to afford it better.
And if
But-
if you're living on less than $1,000 a month, like many of our people are, $15 a month is bread, milk, and eggs. You know, you're gonna have to, some of them, I know, we could sit here and analyze where they could get the money from, or quit spending this or that, but basically, they don't have the extra money.
Because the majority of people don't want trash. I mean,
No.
they're not the majority, but they do. They have little arrangements worked out with
Right.
other family members
Right.
or whatever.
I got some input, and it may help a little bit, I don't know. I've been in a remodeling project since November, and I had them come to put sheetrock in, so I was finished. I've paid 3 times for it now because I hired 2 contractors that know how to do sheetrock. And the 3rd time that I got it finished was when I hired a drywall finisher to finish it, because that's what they do. So I hired a drywall finisher, and they came and got it finished. It cost me more money, but it was finished. We're not in the garbage business. Duggar's in the garbage business. There's some other people in the garbage, but if we try to get in the garbage business, it's gonna complicate things for us. It's gonna save them a little money, because they're gonna get rid of the billing services and the mailings and all that. We're gonna do that for them. But if they've already got 80% of Mountain Grove, the rate dropped from $15 or whatever you're paying now to $13. It's not gonna be a big deal for them. They're gonna make the same amount of money if they have the city of Mountain Grove as a contract, or they're doing it privately. I think let the garbage people do the garbage business, and we'll do the water business, because we're in the water
Right.
business. And I think it complicates things if we start trying to do things that we don't do.
Here's something y'all think about, Mark. Right now, we've got 4 trash companies in Mountain Grove. They're the heaviest vehicles we have running up and down our side streets. Every day of the week, except Saturday and Sunday, they're running our side streets, 4 of them. That's the hardest thing you can have on your streets right now.
Yeah, but if they've got 80% of it, they're on one
Right.
truck going up and down the road anyway.
But
I'm
they
sure
only-
the 20%'s the outliers.
But them other 3 are still running your streets.
Enough to justify putting them out of business? Just asking.
Pardon?
Is what they're doing to our streets enough to justify putting 3 other businesses out of business?
I think if you have one, it would just simplify us.
I think people should have a choice.
Thank you, I do too.
Well, my 2 cents worth to answer Carolyn's question. I just called our trash service here and asked them. I said, what about this case of a lady or a gentleman that's retired and only has 1 bag a week? This gentleman, Rick, said, I can take care of this. He said, they come down, buy a green bag, trash bag, $3. Said they can put 2 or 3 weeks of trash in it, put it out, and we'll pick it up. Said, I sell them in a roll for a year's worth of trash for $36 or whatever they are. They can buy the trash bag. If they have a little bit extra this week, they can do that. And he said, they don't have to have a dumpster now. They don't have to have a roll-off. They can buy 1 trash bag, costs $3. They can put 2 or 3 weeks in, whatever they want. Now, for me, Tammy, we have a hard time now collecting money when we go when in the summertime, we go mow grass. Now, Becky's on this, aren't you?
I'm on it.
Becky's on it. Now, the other thing is when we send someone to mow the grass, to do all that, when we tear down these houses, we're having a hard time. It's taxpayers' money going to do this that we're not getting reimbursed for, okay? Now, my thing as far as the trash, if we had on one side, if they paid the money, I think it'll help clean up the town. But yes, Carolyn and Tammy, you're gonna have some people that's gonna be affected by the lady that sends her trash home with her kids. I understand that. The other thing is, whenever we go pick up trash, I can tell you one not far from our house, Mark, kind of right behind where we live there, that you go look, there's a garage there, and then there's a house, and all back in that corner, there's an L shape, it's full of trash bags. And I don't know whether their conscience bothered them or what, but now they've got a tarp over it.
Okay.
So, and now, when we have citywide cleanup, they bring it to the citywide cleanup in the back of pickup, they're sent away. Cause Bo, you don't take it anymore, do you?
Right.
We don't take out
No.
trash no more.
You know why? Cause it would be there all year and it stinks so bad you couldn't hardly stand it.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we don't take that anymore.
Right.
Okay, now, my thing is I'd hate to have Bo or his crew say, Bo, go over and these people moved out. We need to clean that up and send them a bill. Well, I guess if we take the loader over there with the clams on it, but then if you tear up the yard, then they're mad because you tear up the yard or like
Why
we
is
do
that our
brush.
problem? Why is, I
If
don't
we-
get
But
that.
who's gonna clean it up, Tammy?
Who owns the property?
Okay, it's part of the code enforcement though.
Okay.
That's,
If-
yeah.
When Danny goes out and they notify him, they have 10 days
Right,
to clean up the issue. If
Okay.
they don't, and we have to go in and mow or clean up or whatever,
right.
then we bill them for those hours. And
And we
it's
have
it's our city crews that go in and do
A
that.
list of unpaid, I don't know how big it is, we have a list
Well,
of
we
people, they just
use,
don't pay it.
there used to be a time when the county would let us attach those to the taxes, so that when they paid their taxes or if the property sold, then we would receive our money, but we're not able to do that any longer.
Have we checked recently to see if she'd
Not
changed her
since-
mind?
I haven't talked to her since,
It's the same collector, same collector. Now Tammy, here's the other thing.
Okay.
If I own the property and somebody lives there and I rent it to them and they leave, I guess I'm responsible to clean
Right.
it up. And that's
Absolutely.
that's part of the deal too. So me as a landlord, I'm thinking, you betcha, you're gonna pay that $15, or if I'm paying the water and the sewer bill, put that trash thing on there and they've got it. It's there.
Or before we certify it for rental again, the bill has to be paid.
Right.
So
Right.
they move
Right,
out,
but
they move out.
the landlord will have to take care of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's
The
right.
and in a
landlord's
lot
gonna
of
take
the
care of
house,
it.
a lot of
Right.
the issues we have are rental houses.
Right.
for
Right.
The trash.
And
And
so we
that's-
just don't certify it till the mess is cleaned up.
Right,
Right.
so out of, Kim, you know, it's how many water bills we sent, 2,000?
Right.
Okay, so 15 out of every one of those, that's 300 people that may be in town who get a water bill that don't do trash. Which that may be wrong, because if one place has 85 and the other two have 10%, you know, there may only be 50 people that don't have trash.
Right.
But unfortunately, guess what? Those are the 50 people that make the town look the worst.
Right.
So if we can get it cleaned up without having so much, more power to it. I mean,
But I think we can get it cleaned up without stepping on the citizens' toes. It's none of our business what they do with their trash unless they're breaking one of our rules.
it
That's what I
is
think.
when it comes to taxpayers' part, because they chose to live in town. I chose to live in town, you chose to live in town. So when you live in town, you still you have a few rules that you have to follow. And part of
Right.
that is being part of the community and
Right.
being part of the town.
Right.
You're willing to say, you know, hey, I'm willing to do this because I do live in town. I don't have a well, I get my water and I get my sewer, so, you know, I have to be a little bit more, I have to pay the bill and I have to do this, you know. I can't have a hog in my backyard to fatten, you know, I can't, there's some certain things I can't do.
Right, and rightfully so.
Right, so, I mean, you know, and I understand that, but for me, I think we all need to mill it around and think about it and come back another time and see what we need to do.
Well,
I'd
it's
like to
been-
talk
it's-
to the people in my ward before, you know, We'll
And,
see
you
what
know, if
their
it comes
thoughts
down
are.
to it, maybe put it to vote of the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you tell me how many yards we mowed last year we didn't get paid for?
I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head. I would have to look at that and bring it back to you.
That's just like this. There's people just won't mow their yard. They're not gonna mow it till they get that high. Okay, you gotta send somebody out there. You gotta put a sign in their yards, you gotta give them 10 days, then you have to go back and mow it.
And you remember, Webb, used to, they'd, and Larry, you can attest to this, you give them a ticket, they'd come in, they'd say, well, give me 30 days, and the judge would give them 30 days. Well, they'd say, well, my mower's quit, I got another 30 days. So they'd end up mowing their yard twice in the whole summer.
Whole summer.
Okay, but
Now
that don't
they
have
get to
a
go to
thing in the
Hard
world
Bill
to
and
do
do
with
that.
trash.
No, but it does, because you're not getting the money from it if you have to go do it.
Right,
It takes
okay.
them longer to do that, and they're not getting any, the city is, it's the taxpayers' money coming out.
I think we just need to think about it, maybe.
Well,
I
that's
do.
like why I said in here, this was a point to start talking about it.
Yeah.
'Cause
Right,
it keeps getting
right.
brought up, so now you guys
I mean,
can.
it'll make my life easier, you know, if I had to pay, if I didn't have
And
the
cheaper.
extra bill, but, and it sounds like it might be,
Yeah.
but I'm not into making choices for people. I think that people need to make their own choices, that's just,
Well, you have some information to look over, and
Okay.
Larry's gonna look over the state statutes, and then you
Okay.
guys can continue this conversation.
okay. sounds
Zach,
good.
you were quiet. Do you have any thoughts that,
Yeah, but
We
it's,
didn't know
it's
about
the
that.
same round and round, but yeah, it's like the grass, we shouldn't have to tell people to cut their grass
Right.
or pick up trash, but we do, cause
Right.
there's a small percentage that are just don't
Right.
get it, so I think I can see the benefit of it, so but as you said, there's other things that it's gonna affect, but overall, I'm thinking we might have to, just cause small percentage, there's a lot of things we shouldn't have to tell people to do, buy car insurance, but we have to make it law, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we are at emergency management update, Becky.
Okay, so I guess I just kinda wanted to let yous know that I've kinda taken this on as, something that I wanted to do, and I went to one of my first city managers meetings, and one of the gentlemen that spoke at that meeting was the city administrator for the city of Uvalde, Texas. And Uvalde was where they had the school shooting. And he talked about, things that bother him to this day that he didn't do as a city administrator that would have made that crisis that happened in their community, it would have made things go better, and he felt like he should have done a better job of planning ahead. And I don't know that we can ever plan enough for an emergency for our community. I hope we don't ever face anything like that. I hope we don't have a tornado like Joplin. I hope we don't have any of those. But I feel a real heavy responsibility as administrator to put the people together to come up with a plan of how we're going to address crisis situations. So we met with the police department, 911, our fire department, who else, Danny, did we have in there? The school, yeah, obviously the school. We had the school there. I'm sorry? We didn't have county there. It was mainly just to formulate how we were gonna react. So we have a lot of things in place. We're gonna continue to meet on a monthly basis. We're going to make sure, one of the things he said he regrets is he did not have his police department prepared, equipment-wise to respond to what happened at the school. He did not, they had never had emergency planning meetings to plan scenarios on where they were gonna evacuate people or how they were gonna handle those situations, and we wanna have all that in place. So, we've talked about evacuation sites for kids, where we would come together, how we're gonna, the city of Joplin, when they had the tornado, they could not, there was no cell phones, there was no way for them to communicate with each other, how to respond. And so we're addressing all of those issues so that we have a way to get in touch with each other and to respond in those crisis situations. So that's something you'll probably be seeing a little more of in the budget and in the planning process. Maybe some things that we might want to do or buy to help our guys be better equipped to handle a crisis situation like this. So I just kinda wanted to give you an update that I feel like it's really important for us to put emergency planning as a top priority for our city, so.
I still
we'll
have
pass
that
on
little tag that they give us when we do it. Yes, Tammy?
As a parent, you know, I'm right there with you. Anything that we need to do to invest in being prepared. we
And your
need to do.
school, I mean, you should rest assured too, the school takes it very seriously and they have a lot of things in place, but
Yeah.
we wanna make sure that even though the school has a plan,
Right.
that our officers know what that plan is. You know, that we know where those kids are going, what's gonna happen there. The school, the officers, Danny, go ahead, you can say,
It's two different missions though.
yeah,
And what the school's doing is completely different than what we'd be doing.
Okay.
So they need to be aware of what, because
cause the school is going to get everybody, they're gonna lock down. What our
Right.
guys are gonna do is go in and find the shooter, you know, so their jobs are different, and what they
Right.
need to do their job is different than what the school needs to do their job.
Right, okay.
And our officers are gonna do some trainings, on the days that the school does not have kids in session. They're gonna take the guys in, let them do some mock trainings of an active shooter, so that they can get our officers familiar with the school buildings, you know, and actually some situations that put them in that. We're actually going to do some active shooter training with some of our city employees. We just feel like we need to be more proactive in addressing some of these
I know
issues.
KY3 had something on, they had a deal on there about how much training is going on and how other schools are doing it.
And it's not just that, you know, we could have,
Right.
the school shootings would be less likely than some of the other things that we might
Right.
face,
We
like
had
a
a church
tornado
shooting
or.
yesterday
We
again.
need to have
Yeah.
national
Yeah.
disaster training too.
We could have a bomb go off in the middle of a festival.
You know,
I
so
mean, yeah.
we're trying to convene all of these people together so that we have an emergency planning in place for whatever we might have come up, so.
Thank
mental health
you.
is a huge issue here.
Huh?
Pardon?
Mental health is a huge
Yes.
issue here,
Huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
so.
I mean, we have the 4 lane out here, I mean, you know, there's, could be hazmat, something, whatever there is. Okay.
You may have said this,
Okay.
Becky, but did you have any medical providers or
We
medical?
are going to get, some of our medical providers involved. We talked
Okay.
about that at the meeting, so we're gonna get some of those involved too. I think that's pretty much it on it. I just kinda wanted to give you an update on
You
that.
was gonna talk about the TNR grant,
That's really,
that's called.
well, TNR grant is that, Jordan is applying for a, spade and neuter grant.
Oh, that's right.
It's the cat.
That's the
Yeah,
cat.
the
Oh.
cat.
And, but she needs city council authorization to submit the grant.
Do we need a motion and approve that?
I'll just make the motion that we, let her proceed with the grant.
Make a motion to approve, or to let her proceed with the TNR grant. We're second.
Yes.
Carolyn seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right. Now, we have Bill 2024-02, annexation of 9805 and 9871 East 20th Street. First reading. Have a motion to proceed?
Motion.
Second. Is that what we've already been dealing with?
Yes.
With
That's
the,
out at there. Yeah, we had the hearing on it.
Gums, the insurance, okay.
Yes.
Yes. So
Second.
we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No,
All
you,
opposed?
roll call. It's.
Roll call, Mark.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Okay, Becky, will you read that?
An ordinance to annex an unincorporated area described in this ordinance into the city of Mountain Grove, Missouri, property described as 9805 and 9871 East 20th Street.
Motion to accept first reading.
Motion.
Motion, second.
Second.
Second. Tammy, Mark, how you vote?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Motion.
Second, to do a second reading. Webb made a motion to proceed, second.
Second.
Mark?
Yes.
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 Becky, will you read
An
that?
ordinance to annex an unincorporated area described in this ordinance into the city of Mountain Grove, Missouri, property described as 9805 and 9871 East 20th Street.
Motion to accept,
Motion.
second.
Second.
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
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 And basically, the water's there, it's just gonna be a sewer, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Now, Becky, if you wanna talk about the administrative report, if anyone has any questions about that.
Okay, I'll just run down through it. You all have a copy. The,
We don't need it right now.
okay. The grant update, I've already went over all of that. Strategic planning, I would like to schedule another strategic planning session, and hopefully involve our people that have applied to be on the committee. For the February 19th or the 26th at 6, what would everybody prefer?
Then I look at the calendar, what day?
The 19th?
Oh,
Would every-
it's next Monday?
Would every, is it Monday or Tuesday?
19th Monday,
Okay.
20th, oh yeah, both Mondays, yeah.
I was just trying to keep it the same night as the council.
I have my days mixed up, I'm good.
Either one?
Okay, I thought we were
Yes.
talking about the
Okay.
19th.
Would does the 19th work for everybody?
Works for me.
Okay, let's set that for the 19th then.
19th.
Which is next week, on
Six
Monday.
Monday.
On Monday, not Tuesday.
Mark, did you get that?
Yeah, Monday, huh?
Okay. Zoning maps, we already went over that. Ace Motorcycle, they've removed everything from the Lake Street building. Annexation, we've already done that. The street inventory, citizen advisory committee. The Lake Street property, I let you all know that if you have time, come over, let me walk you through the Lake Street property. We finally have all of the fire department went over there and worked hard getting all of the junk cleaned out that was still there. We filled an entire dumpster of stuff that still needed cleaned out of the building. So that's been taken care of. The property, we would like to move our main fire department along with training facilities. The fenced-in area would work really well to set up our training areas for the firefighter 1 and 2. The building, and if you went over there and took a look at it, you would see how well that would work. Our building right now doesn't house our fire department very well, because when it was built, we didn't have full-time fire department.
Right.
They've renovated a bathroom and they've turned that into a sleeping room, and you just need to go see. You just
Yeah.
need to go
Come on
see it.
over anytime, it's time.
It
It's
is-
like, I don't know if it's as big as Alcatraz or not, but is it 6 by 6 or?
It's little. There's a lot of things that we need to address because our fire department has grown tremendously and they've outgrown where they're at. This seems like a great use. I mean, I don't think the council, I kinda got the feeling from you all that you wanna get out of the landlord business. I know I would definitely like to be out of the landlord business. Down below where the main buildings are, there's actually 3 entrances to that fenced-in area. At the lower part of the entrance, I talked to Danny about turning that into an impound lot for our police department. It's actually would work well, it would be lower than where the training facilities would be for the fire department. It would have a separate gate entrance. Danny said most of the time, if they ever had maybe more than 7 or 8 cars at a time, and the impound lot is about the most they usually have, usually less than that, at the most would be that. There's plenty of room on that lower area to make that an impound lot, and if you have fire department over there, then you've got it manned all the time to be able to,
Keep an
open
eye
the
on it,
gates,
yes.
open the gates and do all that. They would come here to take care of impound fees and stuff like that.
What the renovation's gonna be cost-wise.
That's what I have to
Yeah.
give to
I
you.
wonder if we could
So-
build a new one over here on
So when
Ninth
you,
Street.
I'm sorry,
I was wondering if it'd be as cheap to build a new one over here on the end of 9th Street, or we got that property, remember, we got.
we
over
have the
there.
property there off of Water that
Water.
you're talking about, yeah, kinda off of Ninth and Water Street.
Sometimes you can build one cheaper than you can redo one.
But we need
So-
one on the other side of the tracks, right?
We definitely can't build one for what the renovation cost would be for
Okay.
this building. Because for one thing, it's already got the bays in there, so it's big enough. You're gonna have to build a big building if you build a new one. This already has the bays in there, so the main building has 3 bays, the second building has 3 bays. And then there's another area back behind the second building that has 30 by 45 piece of concrete that's already been poured. So there's room there to maybe add another training facility at some point. You've already got the concrete there, which is a huge expense, if we wanna put a building on it at some point.
Excuse me, Becky, you may have already touched on this, I might have been daydreaming. But the condition of the building, the stability of
Yeah,
the
it's-
age,
I mean,
good
it's-
bones.
Yeah, if you go look at the building, I mean, it's good bones. It's mostly just been ignored for a long time. It's dirty, The office areas, are a little outdated, you know, you would update some of that paneling and stuff with some sheet
But I
rock.
mean, as far as pouring money into
It still has a good, heat pump system in all of the office areas. You wouldn't have to buy any new heat for that. You would just be buying some heaters for the bay area. It's got above where the office areas are, is just an open area that's a second level. And that's the area that we would renovate into the sleeping rooms.
Put a fire pole.
Or slide, I don't know, that was the first thing when the guys saw the second story, they're like, ooh, I could put a fire pole in here, the firemen, but anyway, Clint has been working on, we kinda have walked through and talked about what all needs to be done over there, so there's 3 different bids here, so one bid is showing if you got costs from Home Depot, the second bid is Mountain Grove Building Supply, and the third bid is CHC here in town, and what the cost would be to do the renovations. This is what the estimated cost would be to get it to what we think it needs to be to house our fire department. And granted, this is gonna be, our guys doing the work, and the fire department guys chipping in and helping. We will not be hiring any labor, we'll be doing it all ourselves. I think it's a great opportunity to take something that we already own, and then the north side fire, we would continue to keep our building at the south side station. We would probably quit calling them north side and south side and have Firehouse 1, 2, and 3. We would keep our site at the north side, that's at the city shed, but it would free up an entire bay at the north side station, and that would allow Bo to be able to put the bigger equipment that we really don't have anywhere to put right now. It would keep it in out of the weather, and we could use that, one of the bays at the north side fire station for some of our bigger equipment.
Becky,
Yes.
I'm confused.
I am too.
I don't get what you're telling me
I'm
here.
not following.
Okay, so
along here.
each sheet is the same thing, only if you look at the top location where it says CHC,
Yeah.
that's the bid, that page has the bid from CHC.
You got building material for
So
Mountain
where
Grove
it says
Building.
Hawkins
Yeah,
Appliance,
Okay, so the top bid is with, if we replace all 4 of the bay doors, and the bottom one is if we only replace 1. We could get by with just 1 if we don't want to spend that much, but the top bid is replacing 4 bay doors, so you have,
Like, that's the only difference on this
Okay.
Yeah.
one then, okay,
Yeah.
can you tell us the others real quick, so.
that's the only difference in the top and the bottom, is the difference between replacing 1 door or 4 doors.
Oh, okay,
So
and
each
then our
sheet is-
location.
Yeah,
and
your
I
location
mean,
is
I saw that
CHC,
earlier, but I
or
couldn't
your
figure out
location
the
is Mountain
different
Grove Building
charts.
Supply
Yeah.
or Home Depot.
Okay, thanks.
Does that make sense? Are you guys
Yes.
making sense of it?
Yep.
I am now, but boy, I wasn't there for a minute.
Sorry, I should have explained that a little better.
I'm
Well,
thinking,
okay, so
what is
see,
this?
Here's the 3 breakdowns of the
makes
So,
locations.
yeah, I'm with you
CHC,
now.
Building Supply and Home
so-
Depot. But the 2 different
This
charts
is
on
all
each
the
one,
same.
they're all the same, but the only
CHC,
difference in the
correct.
2 is all 4 doors.
I mean, obviously, we're gonna, obviously, we're
that's
gonna
the
go
same
with
on
our,
each one.
somebody local.
But
on
yeah.
I just
materials.
wasn't seeing which
Yeah.
place it was in.
But we just wanted you, Clint and the guys have worked real hard on calling and checking online and getting prices for everything that we would need to get everything up to speed in
So
there.
we're $2,000 difference instead of doing,
Now, the difference in the
Home
doors
Depot.
is, right now, the 3 bay doors that go into that are at the main building, they would like to make that a drive-through, so that you're not having to back the trucks out, and it would help during training stuff too, if the training's gonna be in the fenced-in area. So that's the difference in the doors. We could start with the doors the way they are now, and just replace, and just put in 1. So the 4-door is if we go ahead and make that a drive-through to where we add the additional doors. Right now, there's windows in those areas, we would replace those windows and put doors in.
We're gonna have to do something with windows.
It would make,
If you
yeah,
don't
the
put
windows
doors
are
in.
gonna have to be replaced either
Right,
way, so
right.
we'd either have to replace them or put
And
the doors
spend that
in.
much money on the window, replace the windows or put doors in.
That's
Be
why I
cheaper to
think
put
it
the
would be
doors
good
in.
if you could come over and take a look
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
building,
I'd
because
like
it would
to
help
take a
you
look.
make more sense of what we're talking about with the
Right.
doors.
Yeah, cause they're gonna have to
Price
be replaced.
difference
anyway.
isn't that much to where it should be,
I mean,
to
we're
be able to
obvious,
go local.
yeah, we're obviously
Yeah.
gonna go local,
Yeah.
but it gives you a good idea of, where the prices are at on there. It really is a great opportunity to take something we already have and make it
Make it work, yeah.
make it
I
work
think
for
if the
our-
council will take a look at it, you'll be really impressed
Yeah.
with the bones that's there to be able to fix it, because it's,
So we're
It'll
not gonna
fit.
bid on this tonight,
You're just telling us about it.
or do you want motion on this tonight?
I mean, I would like to move ahead as soon as we can.
Yeah, let's
on
go, I mean, this is cheap.
I'm ready.
This is cheap.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept Mountain Grove Building Supplies bid.
the top one with the 4 doors.
Well, so you offered to let us look at it, but now we don't need to look at it, or wanna
I mean,
look
that's
at
up
it?
to you guys. I would like to do it as soon as possible. I would love, if you guys want to put it on the agenda for next Monday,
For the
That would
19th.
work for
or
me.
yeah,
I'm
let's
for the
do that.
19th, and you guys all
Yeah.
take time to go look at the building this week, that would be great.
Right. If you wanna pick a time to take us over there, that'd be,
Why don't, I
Maybe we
know
could do
everybody
more
has
than one.
different schedules, so if you just, I'm always around, so just let me know when works good for you, and I'll just move over there.
Some of us could surely go together.
I
And
was
Sarah,
gonna
I know
Have
you
to go
work
so
during the
many
day,
times.
so I'm all the time here after hours,
I-
so just holler at me and I'll meet you over there after work or
if
something.
somebody sets up a time, just give me a buzz and I'll meet you there at
Yeah,
that
me
time.
too.
Cause I think once you're there and you see what all this will do, I think you'll be tickled.
I think you'll be surprised at,
Right.
the potential. You
Right.
know, once you walk through
You
it.
said the old fireplace station would be for the mechanic probably to,
No, I think, so the south side station, we would continue to use it, probably have our rural trucks in there, right, Clint? So some of the rural trucks would stay in our south side station. I talked to Fred about possibly moving the mechanic shop over there to begin with, when we first thought about having the building. He doesn't want to be that far.
Uprooted.
Yeah, he'd rather be over there where it's more handy, where the
And that's
guys are
Fred
at.
Emery,
Right.
mechanic.
Let's keep him happy.
So if we want, how about everybody try to take time this week, and then we'll bring it back up next week?
And if you're just out driving around, cause, I mean, Clint and the other fire department guys, they're over there a lot, aren't you?
Okay.
You know, I mean, call Becky and just meet over there. You know, cause, you know,
That works.
Becky and,
I think to build a building the size that we're looking at over there in today's market.
$1.5 million.
It would
Right.
take a lot.
It would,
Take
it
a
would,
lot.
yeah. It makes sense, but I wanna see it, I like to see it with my eyes.
We would, part of the bid in there is to paint the outside of the building. We would do it in a white with black trim and with some red fire department signs and stuff on it to make it look more fire department.
Anything else on your administrative report?
Demolition
I have a
bids, we are putting the advertisement out for the bids, cause their time frame is up to do any work on it.
And when will those be due in?
They will have 30 days. Yeah, I'd have to look at the bid, I think
Has
it's
to be in the
30
paper and
days.
they have 30 days to get them in, right? Cause they'll have to
Yeah.
have time to look at
Yeah,
them.
I think it's 30 days.
So is this gonna fall on us to pay, to have these buildings taken down?
Correct.
Even the Masonic Lodge?
That isn't on this list,
Oh, it's not that Maple?
no.
No.
Oh. Did we
The,
get,
the ones on this that's one that's been talked about for the next time, but the
Okay.
ones that's on this list, started several months ago, because you have to give them time to come in and meet with the building commission and all that. So
okay,
the West First ones are the ones down here, what everybody calls the old Skid Row. That's 2 buildings there. And then I put the list on here so that you all could drive around and look at them
Right.
if you want to.
Okay.
But
But
those,
that's not the Rogers building.
it is not the
that's-
Rogers building, it
It's
is
the one next door
owned
between
by
Rogers
Mrs. Lerner.
and Lynn's,
Correct.
Ben's.
And the Rogers will probably be looked at because it's been sold and
701 East 10th, Lot 7 is a trailer house over in the trailer park over off 10th Street.
Yes.
That they let somebody start
Scrapping.
scrapping,
Demo it.
and they just took what they wanted off of it, and they've left it sitting there, and it's been sitting there for months, so.
And I was speaking to Jamie, so I missed what you said at the very first. But, we was talking about putting the old gas station in down there by Cosmel. We was talking about the two buildings right down here, or one building. Why didn't we get those on this bid?
I mean, Mark and Tim, this started months ago, so
Okay.
I don't know why those are not on there. I've got the fire chief working on our list, that as soon as we get done bidding these, we'll present the new list to you all.
Which one's the old gas station?
He's talking
down?
about the old self-service
there
gas
beside
station down by
Cosmel.
Cosmel.
Okay, the buildings there, and what was the other two?
Well, there's one or two right over here by
Off
Mike
of the
Bard.
square,
That has the roof off.
Oh,
Those two,
that,
okay, right, right.
yes.
And,
that have been there for
right,
years and
cause
years.
these here started 60, 90 days ago. So,
Right.
or whatever.
It's been longer.
Or
than
longer
that
than that.
Because of,
To get them on there, right?
yeah.
But are the dates already expired on each one of these now? I know
Yeah,
that
see, so
trailer
by
it was,
February,
it was
by
February 9th or
February
something.
2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
Everybody had to have it
Yeah.
either torn down or something done with it by February 2nd, so now we go out for bids for us to take it.
Cause they came to the condemnation hearing and
Yes.
that's what was happening, so.
Yeah, that's where we're at on
Real
that.
quick, just 'cause I don't know how does that work when they don't do their part and the city pays to tear them down? Do we then own the property, or
No, we just have
we just do like mowing and they owe us this much if they ever pay it?
Never
Okay.
done.
So these, talk to Larry about it now, since he's taking this over, how to go after people when they won't attach it to the properties, as far as how we would go through the court system to recover our money on the demolished houses.
Well, we're always free to file some sort of an action if we want to.
Okay,
Lien, or mechanics lien, or whatever that
We can
is.
file a lien on the property, I think.
Right,
And
and we
Sure,
should.
yeah. May not get the money for a long time, but they can't sell it.
If it ever sells, we would.
And it may not be worth what it costs to tear it down,
Maybe not,
but we just
It
have to
will
go.
eventually come in. It may take a long time, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Yes, but at least the taxpayers of the town will still have an outlet to get some of their money back.
right.
this is something in the past, Tammy, for the last several years, that was put into the budget each year to do so many
Right.
each year, to try to
Right.
clean up some of council's
Right.
kinda made it a priority in the past, so that's probably something you guys wanna talk about in the strategic planning, if that's what you wanna continue,
Right.
that,
There's still cleanup.
yeah.
Yeah, there's
still a lot
always.
of
cleanup.
And if you notice on High Street over there, down from going south on the west side, there's a brand new house in there.
It's gorgeous, it looks nice.
Oh, I'm like, wow, they finished that up, it looks really nice. And
Yeah, it
I mean,
burned.
that'll be a nice addition to get some more in that area. And you go down, there's some nicer ones, and it's really nice.
There's a lot of people that are upgrading their,
Yes.
I mean, we may have some trash issues, we've got some property issues, but we have a lot of people that have really upgraded their properties as well, over in my area.
I've seen more houses that, once they get the materials kinda got reasonable, they are
Right.
fixing them up. And
Right.
some of these places that we've torn down,
Right,
well, that they bought and they fixed and, go on.
There's three
Yes.
across the street from each other on 13th, I noticed today. There's two being remodeled and a new one being built. It's really nice to see
Right.
Mountain Grove.
right,
And Mark over there in our neighborhood, I mean, that brick house there, plus those two right across from you there.
Right.
I mean, they've done a lot right there with it.
right.
I mean,
Somebody's building 3 new houses on South High Street. I know he's got one that's
Yeah.
looking really good.
Yeah, cause we just put
Um,
meters in over there for them,
You just put what?
meters in over there for
Okay.
them.
And there's gonna be 3. Did we make them put in a lift station?
I don't know, I'd have to ask Randy about that,
I think
probably,
they're spec houses. Somebody said
Probably.
somebody's building to
yeah,
resell. so.
they are.
Yeah, yeah.
all right, are you, any more?
Swimming pool, I mean, guys, I can't promise that we won't be coming back with issues with the swimming pool this year, trying to get through the season, but we're gonna, the guys are gonna start the repair work on the floor and the paint. I know that we're gonna have to redo all the floor paint and stuff in the bathhouse. I know our insurance company's gonna make us do some work in there, so I don't know what all that cost is gonna be, but, hopefully we can get through another summer. Treatment plant, I mean, I just put that in there as an update. are gonna have to look at long-term financing, lease purchase, however we do it, along with grant money to do all of the stuff that we will need to do at the treatment plant over the next few years. So that's just, you know, we're just starting that process. I do know that Toth had already done some engineering work, for long-term planning for the treatment plant, so I'm gonna get copies of all that for you guys to start reviewing. And the auditors will be here next month to present the audit, and we'll be getting copies of that out to you as soon as they get us some bound copies, so we can get you a copy of that.
How are we doing for training on, you know, get someone certified to run that?
That's what, Sean, well, you weren't here when that first happened tonight, sorry. So Sean Smart passed his exam, and
Oh,
he
good,
is now
good.
qualified to,
Very good.
so the guy that we have that we've been having to pay to contract to come in and do that, we no longer have to do that
Good.
because Sean passed his test.
And he's still here.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sean's,
Hi, Sean. Didn't know.
Hey, let's give him another round of applause. Hey, Sean. I know that was a fun test, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a blast. Okay, any more? Because the reason I'm asking you is because I have to fix a boo-boo. I messed up again.
okay,
Going back to the minutes, you have a copy of the executive minutes in front of you. We didn't,
Motion.
we didn't take care of them, so we have
I know, Brian.
another, that's 2 Biden moments tonight. Anyway, okay.
Oh, my
Can we go ahead and add that to it, or we need to go ahead and have another motion? What do you wanna do, Kim?
you
We
need
need
a
to make a motion?
You need a motion.
Motion by Webb to approve the executive minutes, have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Anything else, Becky?
Closed session.
Motion.
Pay the
We wanna
bills.
pay the bills at first,
Oh, yeah.
cash,
Go ahead
pay the
and do that.
bills. Motion to pay the bills?
Second.
All in favor?
On a side note on the bills, you have attached, Kim provided you a quarterly progress report, which she's supposed to on the budget. So that's as of the end of December. You have that, look it over. If you have any questions, holler at Kim and, or myself, and we'll help you
33
on
pages?
that. Yeah, well, that's your
Dang.
budget. So that, and then she'll provide you another one at the end of March, but each quarter, she'll give you that, and that kinda tells you where we're at on the budget so far. So if you-
That has the total budget, how much is budget spent?
So
and how
it'll
much
tell
is
you
left.
what the
Okay.
budget figure was, what's been spent, and the percent expended for the year, which you should be at around 50%. So you'll see some of them that are a little below that, and some that are a little above. The best part is on the revenue side, we're a little above, so that's good.
All right, now,
Motion.
motion to go in executive session.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
We'll take a